Good morning, dear listeners. I welcome you once again for another second to last class of fundamentals and office application. Last time we looked at some of the operating systems. We defined what operating system is, and then we had gone as far as slide 89. So we are going to continue again from here, and then we see on how this operating system or the difference between the operating system and the application. Then we shall be seeing what is the work of the operating system on our computers. We have types of operating system. There are several types of operating systems here. Here is an overview on which the system of the operating system. One, we have Windows. Windows is a popular Microsoft brand preferred by the most personal users. This system has come a long way from the version 1.0 all the way up to the new Windows of Windows 10, Windows 12, or Windows 10, and Windows 8, isn't it? So, although the Windows has made a strand in regards to security, it has reputations of being one of the most vulnerable systems. So you find out that one of the types of the operating system we have Windows. Windows is a type of operating system that always runs on our hardwares, as we've been saying. So this one here we have Windows, which was made by Bill Gates. And then we have so many versions of Windows. We have Windows 7, Windows 10, Windows XP Service Pack 1, Service Pack 2. All those ones types of what are versions of Windows, but is one single type. So the Microsoft suite of operating system, they includes from the most recent to the oldest. So here they're trying to show you the versions, how has it grown. In other words, its background, how Windows has managed to grow, where has it reached. Now they're saying that some of them have Windows XP Professional Edition. That is one of the versions that were used before. So versions used by many businesses on workstations. It has the ability to become the member of corporate domain. I think that. So this one here, it could work like it could be used by the users, like on my machine. Those are the one who call that workstations. Windows XP Home Edition. This was another one. The lower cost versions of the Windows XP, which is for home use only and should not be used at business. Are you getting that? So this one could always be used at home. It could not be used in the business. In other words, it cannot be used as a server. Whereas these ones here, it could be used as a server. Are we together? We have Windows 2000, a better versions of the Windows NT operating systems, which works well both at home and as workstation at business. It includes the technology which allows hardwares to be automatically detected and other enhancement over the Windows NT. Are we together? So this Windows 2000 could work in two ways. Could work as a server, and then it could work as a client. When we talk of a server, obviously I know that you know that because we've ever talked about it altogether. If I've not talked about it, then we shall be looking at the networks. We shall also still talk about it. So this one would serve to work on the business, and again to work at home. Is it okay? Then we have Windows Me. Windows Me upgraded versions from Windows 98. Are you getting that? So it was upgraded. So all those ones there that we're looking at are versions of Windows, but is one single type, which was made by Microsoft, that is Bill Gates. So, but it has been historically plagued with the programming errors, which may be frustrating for home users. So when Windows Me was done, it was made with errors. So they were trying to correct errors. That's why, for example, you try to observe now that we had Windows 8. Windows 8 immediately as it came like this, it took like 2 to 3 months, and then Windows 10 came into existence. Why? Because they discovered that Windows 8 has an error. So sometimes the version may come quickly depending on the errors that are in the one that they have done what they are publishing. So they have to correct those errors and then go to get a better one. So Windows 98, this was produced in two main versions. The first Windows 98 version was plagued with programming errors, but the Windows 98 second edition, which came out later, was much better with many errors resolved. all together. So this is the era. So Windows NT versions of Windows made specifically for businesses offering better controls over workstations, capabilities to help network administrators all together. So the Windows NT is a server environment, or is a server operating systems that will always help the network administrators to be able to control or to manage the network or the computers on the network. Windows 95, the first versions of Windows after the old Windows 3.x version, offering better interface and better library functions for programs. Getting that? So it will give a better environment for programs. When I talk of programs, I mean Microsoft Office. At Microsoft Office, there might be Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel, Microsoft Access, and etc. altogether. Those are the ones that you're trying to refer to. Then you have types of operating system as well. Then the other one that we've been looking at has been one single type of operating system, which is Windows, and all whatever I've seen, Windows 98, Windows 95, Windows Me, Windows 2000, Windows NT, all those ones are versions of Windows, but it is one single type. So the second type of operating system is called Unix. Unix is an operating system developed by Bell Labs to handle a complex scientific applications altogether. So Unix is one of the operating systems that always assist us to be able to handle most of the network operating system, network gadgets, or it can work with network gadgets, or it can control, it can manage. This what works as a server in most cases. I'm getting that because it has a lot of security in it, and again, it can do most of the things it has. So it was developed in a Bell Labs. So the university networks are likely to use Unix as internet service provider. I'm getting that. So most companies normally use Unix for their servers, because remember, the servers will be having a lot of information that they keep, and then they will not be able to use Windows, because Windows, however much it is popular to people, but they have a problem of security. So their security is too weak. It is often used more as a server than a workstation. Altogether, it can be used as a workstation, but is more used in a server environment. So Unix is well known for its stability. So it is stable. Unix is a text-based. It is text-based, but X Windows is a network-based altogether. So the X Windows can be network-based graphical interfaces for Unix that some think is even easier to work with than Windows 98 altogether. So you'll see that Unix also have some graphical user interface, and when some people are trying to use it, they may see that it's much more easier than using Windows 98. So that means in Windows 98, its graphical user interface is a bit complicated, because as you say that 98 they made it too, it was made with errors. There's 98, Windows 98, and then there's Windows 98 second edition. The first edition had a lot of errors, and the second edition had few errors altogether, because they had resolved so many of them from the other one. So the Unix is a machine independent operating systems, which means it is not specific to just one type of a computer hardware. So it can be used on various type of machines altogether. So another type of operating system, we have Linux, is an operating system similar to Unix that is becoming much more popular. It is an open source program created by Linus Torvalds at the University of Finland, starting in 1991. So you'll find out that this is Linux, which is actually a popular machine now, and is always used also like Unix, as how it can be used as a server in most businesses. Open source means that it can give you its source codes altogether, that the underlying computer code is freely available to everyone altogether. So for it, you can be able to enter into it, and then if you can be able to change their operating systems, you can change. For example, you can go to the source codes, and then you write another code of your own after writing it, and then it changes the format of that particular operating system. Then you need to change the name of that operating system if you know what you're doing, because it is open source. Open source means that the source codes are available to each and every person that understands what is doing. Are we together? So programmers can work directly with the code and add features of their choice. They can sell their customized versions of Linux as long as the source code is still open to others altogether. So you'll be free to sell that version of yours as long as the source code is what is left open to others, not making it, not personalizing it. Is it okay? So we have another type of operating system. We have Apple Macintosh. Is a multitasking operating system that was the first graphical interface to achieve the commercial success. I remember one time I was telling you that Windows is popular because of the graphical user interface, and this is when it entered into the standardization. That's when Windows got a chance of picking the idea of Macintosh to use graphical user interface, because Windows were using Windows DOS of old version was using command line. Are we together? So it could not be easy, it could not be user friendly, but then Macintosh had a better version which was using the graphical user interface that is user friendly. Are we together? So that one there bought this idea and then he used it in his, and then automatically, as this one here, Apple Macintosh refused to enter into the what? Into the standardization. So made Macintosh not to be popular as Windows it was. So Windows, when it got the idea of this one here of graphical user interface of being user friendly, then it made him to be popular across the globe. And that's why you see that most of the times in most offices where you go, or in most companies, you'll find Windows working because it uses graphical user interface. However much this one here was the one that came up with the graphical user interface, but the reason why it not to be popular because it not enter into the standardization. So it remained there because for them they would make their own operating system and they make their own hardwares altogether. That's why you see that Apple machines are always expensive even now. So recently, the versions of the Macintosh operating systems, including the Mac OS X, follow the secure architecture of Unix. So these machines of Apple Macintosh, they always follow the Unix what? Architecture altogether. The Apple made major marketing error when they decided to keep their hardwares and the software under tight control rather than licensing others to produce compatible devices and programs. So the Apple made one error whereby they refused to enter into the standardizations, and then they started making their software together with their hardwares, than entering into the licensing altogether, whereby other companies can come up with hardwares and then for them they provide the software. I think that like what Microsoft is doing, that it produces the software, whereas other companies can produce hardwares. That is like Dell, HP. Are getting that? Arc, even others are getting that. Then the Windows operating system can be able to run on each and every platform or every hardware that has been made in different what, because all of them are in the what, are in the same in the same standardization altogether. So this is the error that Apple made, and that's why you see that Apple is not popular at the moment. The system developed by Apple are efficient and easy to use, but can only function on Apple branded hardwares. I think that. So that is one of the challenges that we have. So operating systems are updated frequently. So with the operating system, you can upgrade your operating system at any single time T. We can change it. When we talk of upgrading or updating, it means that if I have a Windows 7 and I want to upgrade to Windows 10, I have directly, as long as I'm licensed, I have to connect to the website of Microsoft, and then I pick the new files that has been added into the new machine, which is Windows 10, and then I will download all of them directly. Automatically, I will be moving from Windows 7 to Windows 10 directly without doing a clean installation, but only connecting to the version. Is it okay? So, for example, if a user finds a bug or a security hole in an operating system, the company that makes the operating systems normally releases an update called the patches or a service pack. Are you getting that? So in every organization that comes up with a certain software, they always realize that they may come up with even these hardwares. They always have patches. As a patches is an upgrade, or getting a patch or a service pack. That means you have the error. If there is an error that is recognized somewhere, or might be in security or anything, then you go to the website of that country, of that company. They will give you other more. They always support their softwares or their programs That's why when after releasing it, they try to study it. So any error that is raised within their system, within their program, they have to look a solution and then be able to solve it. So that's why as long as you are licensed, then you can pick the new files that can make your program to continue running effectively. This allows you to update your operating systems without installing it from scratch. Is it okay? Check the website of the company that writes your operating system for the latest information about the latest software's purchases. So you'll have always to check on theirs. So operating system categories. We have the categories of the operating systems on how they work. One, we have the graphical user interface, short for graphical user interface. GUI, operating systems, contains the graphics and icons and is commonly navigated by using computer mouse. You're saying that. So with this type of operating system, it will be having icons and then you'll be having graphics. In other words, it uses a wizard. You just click the moment you answer a question that is required, then you just click, you put it there and then click next, automatically to go. Or you can use icons. Are you getting that? To do or to present something. So within this type of operating system, the operating system that uses the graphical user interface, we have multi-users. A multi-user operating system allows for multiple users to use the same computer at the same time and different times. Below are some examples of multiple users operating system. So these ones here now, the multi-users, this is a computer. For example, when we are talking about the server, when we talk about the server, this is now like Windows 2000, we have Unix, we have Linux, all those ones are used as server operating system, and they use multiple software. They use multiple softwares. Are we together? So now, when you look at it, for example, all of us will normally connect to WhatsApp. Different people across the globe, but some of us are using WhatsApp, we don't know where the server of WhatsApp is located. I'm getting that. But at any single time, until whenever we connect, we always behind us or behind our devices, there is a WhatsApp server that will always connect to the WhatsApp services, and then we shall be able to get all of them. So that one there, it means that computer is being shared. For example, I can use a simple example that might be common to us, whereby each one of you guys, you have ever put on your Bluetooth and another one puts on his Bluetooth, and you pick an information from your friend's work. So 3 people can put on, or 4 people, and then pick from one. Are we together? What am I trying to mean? I'm trying to mean this, that if I put on my WhatsApp, I can put on my phone. This is my phone here. Is it okay? This is my phone. Is it okay? All together. So I can have my phone there. This is my phone. Is it okay? Then I put on Bluetooth. Bluetooth is put on. And someone is to download what? Is to download music. Is it okay? A file of music. A file of music. Is it okay? Then another person will be here. He is called maybe X, and another one is here. Is called maybe Y, and another one is probably here. Is called Z. Is it okay? Now these guys, they also put on their Bluetooth, but all of us, remember when you're putting on a Bluetooth, you have to indicate which device you're looking at. Is it okay? So we want to connect here, so all of us shall connect here to download this file, and all of us. So you're seeing that this machine now is being shared, meaning that now the operating systems here is multi-user. So because it is being shared by this one and by this one, by this one here, to download the what? Only one single file. So this is what we call a multi-user device, or a multi-user operating system. Is it okay? So have multi-processing, an operating system capable of supporting and utilizing more than one computer processors altogether. So multiprocessor, that means you have more than one operating systems inside your machine. And now that's, for example, the server, Windows 2000, Unix, and Linux still are the examples of that. So we have more than that. Are you getting that? Then we have multitasking, an operating system that is capable of allowing multiple softwares processes to run at the same time. So multitasking, this is having more than one operating system running on the same machine. For example, I can talk of having a dual core. Having a dual means that you have two operating systems running on the hard disk altogether concurrently. Is it okay? Then probably I can install what I call the VMware. I call what I call virtualization type of installation, whereby I'll first have the operating system running on the on the system itself. Then after having that, then I'll be able to install other operating system virtually. Is it okay? They will not be directly seated on the hard disk, but they will be virtually seated on the hard disk. Is it okay? So these ones here, they will be running. So this is multitasking. So I can be able to use the original operating system that I installed on my machine, and again, even these ones that I have installed virtually, I can also still use them, like what the network administrators normally use as they try to manage their networks altogether. So I have multi-threading operating systems that allows different parts of a software programs to run concurrently. Operating system that could fill into this category are Linux, Windows 2008 and 2012, 2016. Still, these are when you reach from multi-user up to multi-threading, we actually referring to the operating systems that is a server environment. Are we together? Yeah. So you need to be careful with those things when you're reading them. So utility and application programs. A utility software, also known as a service program or service routine tool or a utility routine, is a computer software designed to help manage and tune the computer hardware, operating systems, or application software by performing a single task or a small range of tasks altogether. Now, a utility software will always the one that engineers or that lets you to be able to use the application software, or probably the application software or the system software or the operating system. Is it okay? So it is the one that tunes you to be able to use that. We have utility programs perform the tasks related to the maintaining of your computer health, hardware, or data altogether. So with this one here, we'll be looking at the health, how the health, in other words, it's like the security of the system to maintain the health of of our computer. Some utility softwares has been integrated into most major operating systems. So some of them are already integrated altogether within there. For example, the firewall altogether they're integrated. Then we have the one which is not integrated, that is an antivirus. It's not what integrated. Examples can be disk fragmenters, register cleaners, antivirus, file management, data recovery, data backup, data compressions, and memory management. Are we together? So those are some of the things that we may need. So have disk fragmenter. Fragmenter is a utility in a Microsoft Windows designed to increase the access speed by rearranging files stored on a disk to occupy a continuous storage location technique called defragmentation. So the disk defragmenter means the having a partition or might be the storing of our files on the hard disk to create much more space to make the files to continue running on this altogether. So have a file management, the system type of a software that manages data files in a computer system. It has limited capabilities and is designed to manage individuals or group files, such as special office documents and records altogether. This is file management that will be needed. We have data backup is a result of copying or achieving files and folders from the purpose of being able to restore them in a case of data loss altogether. So data backup, that is having different copy or different information at different levels of the same at different places of the same are we together. For example, if I have a document here, I can keep it in my machine here. At the same time, I keep it on my flash. At the same time, I keep it maybe on the CD. Are you getting that? Now, what is on the CD is a backup. What is on the DV on my flash is what is a backup. So those are the backup. In other words, the same information, but you copy that very information and you make different copies at different locations, so that in case if the location where you are in one location, if one gets destroyed, then you can be able to call back the one that you stored at different locations to continue or to resume your activities. Are we together? Data loss can be caused by many things, ranging from the computer viruses to hardwares, failures to file corruptions, to fire, a flood, or theft, etc. Are we together? So there are so many things that can lead to data loss, and then you have always to be ready for them. Full backup or mirror, full backup, and we have mirroring, reverse, incrementals, and continuous data protection, CDP. A full backup, this is making a full backup whereby everything will be backed up. Incremental backup, this is whereby here in a full backup means you pick everything and then you back them up. You don't leave anything. That's a full backup. Then incremental backup, that means you back up on daily basis altogether. In a full backup, that means I can work in the entire year, and then I back up whatever I have done in the entire year, isn't it? In other words, on daily basis, I don't back up. But then there is incremental backup. I can decide to be incrementing that whatever I make, it can either be per month, it can either be per week, it can either be per day. So whatever I make up, for example, this method of incremental is being done by the banks, whereby whatever is being done on a very single day is backed up within is backed up is backed up to on the main server altogether. So you increment. Yesterday you backed up, and then today you back up also. I'm getting that. So whatever is being done, so you increment, you keep adding on the other one that you have done. What you have done altogether. It's like when we are saving. When you are saving, you can save a document at a go. When you are beginning, you write 2 sentences, and then you save the document. Then as you are continuing typing, those ones, remember that you're adding there are not yet saved on the one that you had saved at first. Are you getting that? That means you increment it. Then what will you do now? Again, you will Control S to make sure that you increment. You add what you have typed, which are the new typed sentences, to be added on the ones that had already been had already saved. Are you getting that? So that one we call it incremental. It's done in our daily life. So differential backup. Differential backup, this is whereby we back up in different places or in different locations. Are you getting that? So, but it's the same as those other things. So we have application software programs. What is an application? Application software program, these are the ones that we said that will always be meeting the needs of the what? Of the user altogether. So allows you to perform a particular task or solve specific problems. So these ones will be installed depending on the programs of the user. What does he need? What do you want to achieve? What do you want to get? Are you getting that? For example, we have word processor. Provides the tool for entering and reversing and revising text, adding graphical elements, formatting, and printing documents. I think that. So the word processor will do that. Spreadsheet provides the tool for working with numbers, and it allows you to create an edit electronic spreadsheet in managing and analyzing information. So you can analyze. So those are the applications and very many others that you guys know. Another example, continuous database management provides the tool for management of collections of interrelated facts. Data can be stored, updated, manipulated, retrieved, and reported in a variety of ways altogether. For example, the day you entered the Bugema University, they opened up your file, that is a database. When they opened it, you entered it and started by registering some courses on that particular semester. Every semester, your database continues increasing. Are you getting that? By putting in, you can either add or update it. By updating it, that's now putting the grades of the new semester that you have joined, or might be registering of the new courses that you have registered. Presentation graphics provides the tool for creating graphics that represent data in a visual, easily understood format. Communication softwares provides the tool for connecting one computer with another to enable sending and receiving information and sharing files and resources. So internet browsers provides access to the internet through service providers by using the graphical interfaces. So when you talk of communication software, we mean those applications or programs that can enable us to create a connection or to communicate or to send a message from one device to another device. For example, I can talk of or as we have talked of internet browser, because you have to be having a browser. If I'm using a Google Chrome and then I'm using Google, I have to install Google here, and then also the other one I'll be installing the Google Chrome. Are you getting that? So that we'll have two applications. The server that I'm contacting must have this software. Even me at my client side, I should also be having the same, so that I can be able to associate with the server. Relationship between the softwares. As important as application softwares may be, it's not able to directly communicate with the hardware devices altogether. So however much we can say that now the applications, because are the ones that meets the needs of the user, so they are very important, but remember that for them they don't have a chance to communicate with the hardware, so that's a challenge. Another type of a software requires is the operating system software. So OS software is the set of programs that lies between the application software and the hardware devices altogether. So you'll see that with another important software that we have before we even look at the application software is the operating system software, which we call the system software altogether. That for it is a set of programs that always lies in between the applications and the hardware. Are you getting that? So it interfaces the two parties, that is the hardware and the application softwares, to make them to interact, because there's only the operating systems or the system software that understands the languages of hardwares. Are we together? Think of the cross section of an onion. The inner core of the onion represents the hardware devices, and the application software represents the outside layer. So the middle layer is the OS software. The instructions must be passed from the outer layer through the middle layer before reaching the inner layer altogether. All the computer, regardless of the size, requires the OS. As soon as your personal computer is turned on, the OS software is loaded into a RAM in order to use your computer devices and other softwares. So this one here of thinking of a cross section, what are we trying to mean here? Here we are trying to mean that if we have the inner part, so that means we have this one here, and now this one we can call it hardware, the hardware, isn't it? And then we have this is looking at the architecture. Now this is the system system software, is it, of which I can call the OS, operating system. Then on top of that, then we have the application software. Is it okay? Application software. Is it okay? So now this is the outer layer, this is the inner layer. Is it okay? So this is the middle layer. Oh, this is the operating system now, isn't it? Whereas this is the hardware now, which is now the what? The inner layer. So that's what we're trying to look at, that you can look at the cross section of what? Of an onion. Is it okay? Yes. So let's continue. So we have information networks. Now we have at least looked at how the operating system or the software is interacting with the hardwares. We have looked at hardwares, we have looked at inputs, we have looked at output, we have looked at booting, getting that. We have looked at all those sequences and some other things. We have looked at storage devices. Are we together? Second one primarily, and then other things also. Now this time around, we are, after now have completed our computer and put it together, then we can be able to look at on how we can be able to connect our computer into the network. Are we together? So this is where now we shall have the word called information networks. So information pertaining on the network. So we're going to look at now the network. Now after setting up our computer, putting it there, then we see how can we pass information from one machine to another machine. Is it okay? So this is where now we are going right now. So we shall talk about the computer network. A computer network is a group of interconnected computers. Are we together? In fundamentals, we talk of interconnected computers. That's very correct. Are we together? Yes. So we interconnect computers. When we say we interconnect computers, that means that we have here, I'm trying to mean that interconnecting computers, that means I'll have my PC here. I'll have one PC here, isn't it? This is now one PC. So I can interconnect it with another one here. Is it okay? That's another PC. So this is, I can still be able to interconnect it with another one here. Is it okay? So this is interconnecting with so many of what? With so many of these devices.